What's up, sports fans? I'm Jack Culotta. Today is Thursday, September 30th. The year is 2021, and this is Talk Culotta presented by BootKreweMedia. Talk Culotta, where we talk a lot of sports. You've heard of Mike and Mike in the morning. Well, we're going to call this segment Jack and Jack in the morning because we are joined today by Jack Larriviere, Jesuit High School quarterback, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Jack, how you doing, boss?
I'm great, Mr. Culotta. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well, doing well. It's a 10-minute break at Jesuit, and it's going into third period. Jack is in his off period right now, joining us from Ignatius Hall. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Say Ignatius Hall.
And what class did you just finish up? Second period.
I just finished English 5 with Mr. Ferguson.
Okay. And what's the next class? What's fourth period?
Let's see. What slot is next? I have physics next.
Putting you on the spot here. Who's your physics teacher?
Mr. Kiff. It's his first year at Jesuit, and he's been doing a great job so far. I really like the class.
Awesome, man. And I read your favorite subject is math?
Yes, sir. Yep, big math and science guy.
Who's your math teacher this year?
I've coached DeGate. He's a really, really bright guy.
Or calculus?
Yes, sir. Calculus.
Awesome. Coach Larry DeGate is a legend around Jesuit. He's had quite a career as an MLB umpire, and has really improved the baseball program, helping out there, and just has he's a genius. He went to MIT. I think he still wears the ring. So that's awesome. He's a great math teacher. Jack, let's start with just if you're tuning in. And if you're watching the video, this isn't live, but it'll be posted right after we finish up. We have a little rundown at the bottom of the screen, and we want to start with, your football career. Obviously, we're going to talk about Coach Ryan Manali in his first year. We're going to discuss the big game, the moment we've all been waiting for, the Great American Rivalry game between Jesuit and Holy Cross. We're going to talk about Jack specifically as a quarterback, as a leader of the team, as a senior, as an Eagle Scout, 4.14 GPA. This guy's the real deal. But let's start with, what is really interesting to me. When did you know football was your sport? Break it down for me. When did you start playing? Was it playground ball? I know you went to Christian Brothers. Break that down for me. When did you know football was your sport? And when did you start, really getting into it?
Yes, sir. So it all started when I was 7 years old. My parents signed me up for football at Pontiff Playground in Metairie, Louisiana. And from the very first practice, my dad was the coach. I fell in love with the game. I was never always a quarterback, though. At Christian Brothers, after Pontiff, I was always a tight end, defensive end. But I think those positions really helped me value the game from both sides of the ball, which also helped me as I moved into high school, where in 8th grade, I tried out for quarterback for the first time. I never played quarterback before, but I figured I'd just give it a shot. And I did really well my first year. The freshman quarterback actually had an injury, so I played up that year and got some really good competition against some really good football teams. And then that set me up really well for my freshman year of high school, where I played on the freshman team as a freshman quarterback. I also got some reps on the JV team. And then my sophomore year in high school, I played kind of like a Taysom Hill role in varsity.
Nice.
The coaches, they watched me in the JV games, the freshman games. They liked that I was physical. I wasn't really afraid to stick my head in there, take some hits. Played some special teams, played some receiver, running back. They kind of just put me wherever on the field, and I think I did the job pretty well and got the job done.
Absolutely. So correct me if I'm wrong. First off, Taysom Hill, I love the comparison. My first interview with Mike Hoss, the voice of the Saints, I was wearing a Taysom Hill jersey. I got the jersey right after, he scored a couple of touchdowns in a row, his first kind of breakout year. But correct me if I'm wrong, your 8th grade year when that quarterback went down and you stepped up to play freshman quarterback, is that kind of when you knew, quarterback's my position?
Yes, sir. Yeah. From that moment on, just being the leader of the team, having to mesh with the the upperclassmen that I didn't really know that well. It was a great learning experience for me, and it was something I wanted to do for as long as I could.
That's awesome. And so also there's kind of a play off the Taysom Hill role, the gadget player role, right? So you are a wide receiver turned quarterback in a way, because your freshman year you were on varsity, you didn't really get a lot of playing time. Obviously, you were playing for the freshman team at quarterback, but your sophomore year is really when you started, playing that gadget role. And Grant Jordan, who is now at Yale, was the quarterback. How important was it to not only be able to play two positions, right? You're playing wide receiver and you're playing kind of a rushing, Lamar Jackson, Taysom Hill type quarterback position, but you're playing both positions, but you're also in the quarterback room with Grant Jordan, learning and working under him. Just talk about that whole experience.
Right. So Grant Jordan is probably one of the smartest guys I know. The way he looked at football from perspective of breaking down the game, watching film, reading defenses, it was one of the best learning experiences I've had. And I definitely attribute most of the stuff I know today to Grant. We would always spend time together breaking down everything about the offense. And he made it made it easy for me to learn the new curve, especially moving from 8th and 9th grade up to varsity. There's a lot more intricate plays, different formations. So having him there above me to mentor me and teach me was definitely one of the best experiences I've had at quarterback. And it's definitely made me who I am today.
Yeah, man. And in today's world, right, high school football is like, when you can surround yourself around a good program and good coaches and good people and good leaders like Grant Jordan, I mean, it really is very similar to the college football experience. Obviously, there's bigger campuses. There's, more strength and conditioning coaches. Everything is expanded, in the form of talent and capacity and capability and technology. But really, y'all are pretty darn close at Jesuit. And I mean, you look at Country Day and Newman, their football fields are like incredible. And all that you have at your disposal at Jesuit. I mean, the workout room, the workout facility, the practice facility, the coaches, the iPads on the sideline. I mean, it really is a full-on, it's a full-on job, just like these guys in college and the NFL. Just talk about everything that you have at your disposal.
Right. So I think today in about 2 hours, for example, I'm going across the street to the Russell building. I'm going to go in one of the second floor classrooms. Coach Bainesfall, their offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, he's going to drop down the projector and we're going to start watching film. We're going to break down Holy Cross. We're going to talk about the last practice, watch film from practice, having those resources to be able to learn from past mistakes and then look towards the future, watching future opponents. It's definitely one of the best tools we have at our disposal. The games definitely wouldn't be the same way without it. We wouldn't know what we're walking into, and just having that extra level of preparation because of the resources that are available, it brings the game to a whole new level for everybody.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, let's talk about the evolution of the quarterback position, right? We spoke a little before we went live about, the Lamar Jacksons, the Russell Wilsons, the Kyler Murrays of the world that you see obviously on a national scale on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. I mean, that game between the Ravens and the Chiefs, I don't know if you saw that one. That was incredible.
Yes, sir.
And, those are, in my opinion, two of the best quarterbacks when you're talking about different styles, right? Mahomes is more of a pro style pocket passer. Obviously he can run, he can throw on the run. And then Lamar is, obviously a dual threat quarterback who, might as well be a running back and one of the fastest guys in the league. I read in an interview though, Jack, a past interview that you had, when you had the choice to choose between the label pro style quarterback or dual threat quarterback, you said pro style. And if there was a QB you aspired to be like, it would be Tom Brady. But I got to tell you, man, after looking at your highlight reel on Huddle, you seem like a dual threat quarter. You seem like you can do it all to me. And so I'm going to pull up this clip and I got a little commentary. And then I'm going to give you kind of the floor to just expand on that thought. Like, I want to know, do you still consider yourself a pro style QB? And do you still consider Tom Brady the guy you want to be like as you move forward in your football career? But first off, let's watch this clip, and then I'm going to give you the floor. All right?
Yes, sir.
Two, 205 pounds, Jack Larriviere, Jesuit quarterback, 4.14 GPA. We're looking at his highlight reel on Huddle, his recruiting tape. And there's one play in particular that really stands out. I mean, this is what a college quarterback looks like. Comfortable in the pocket, delivering passes over the middle, throwing his receivers open. Here's the play I want to talk a little bit about, Jack. Right there, you got three guys coming at you, and you deliver a dime over the middle. Watch this again. Rolls out, nobody open to his left. He knows a guy's coming over the middle on, what is that, a drag route? Three guys coming at him. He knows he's going to take a hit. All right, throwing off his back foot, but he knows his receiver's open. He knows his receiver's in front. Look at that pass. That's a dual threat quarterback throwing on the run. It helps when you have Luke LaForge at wide receiver making plays. Here's another one right here. Same thing. 2 to 3 guys running at him from all different angles. He knows he's going to take a hit, but he knows he can throw his receiver open. That's good stuff, man. So yeah, has that answer changed from that interview when you had to choose, right? Did you still consider, pro style dual threat? What would you kind of label yourself if you were in an interview with a college coach, or just kind of describing your play as a quarterback? And does the other answer change? Is it somebody else besides Tom Brady now?
Right. So I still don't know if I'd distinctly label myself as a dual threat quarterback. I think one of my greatest assets, kind of like you see on the film there, is having that ability to escape the pocket when I need to.
Right.
But instead of always maybe escaping the pocket and pulling the ball down to run like a dual threat quarterback might have to, I feel like my ability to stop, throw on the run, and keep my eyes downfield instead of just always looking to run the ball, that's one of my greatest assets. So I don't necessarily think I'm a dual threat, but I also agree that I'm not really the typical pro style that really just sits in the pocket and delivers the ball around the field.
Right.
I do think I'm a hard runner, and I think I do get that from my past as a defensive end and tight end, fullback.
Right.
So those prior experiences definitely molded me into more of that style of quarterback today. So I don't think I would call myself a Tom Brady, but
I was getting at that, man. Tom Brady can't make I'm sure he could in high school, but nowadays at least, he's not rolling out and making that throw with 3 guys coming at him. He also has an offensive line that allows him to, pop up a beach chair and scan the field. But yeah, I mean, I would say more of a Mahomes or a Ryan Tannehill, maybe, if you had to change, or maybe it's somebody in college, maybe it's Grant Jordan, but if you had to change, somebody you would aspire to be. Obviously, I'm not asking you to compare yourself to any of these guys. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own style, but those 2 plays I saw, and then there was also, highlight clips later on in your reel, that where you're running and you are tucking and running and scoring and not afraid to take a hit. So how does that answer kind of change? Is it more of a Mahomes type now who can really throw on the run, but also tuck it and run if need be, but he's also smart enough to, know that he can just roll out and find an open receiver?
Right. I think that guy that I aspire to be is Josh Allen.
Nice.
I really like this style of play. He's a really big physical guy. He can deliver the ball to any spot on the field whenever he wants, any position. His feet can be stuck one way, throw the opposite side of the field, but he also isn't afraid to pull the ball down and run and take those hits. And I think that's kind of my play style. I always have the pass first mentality on passing plays. I'm always going to try to find the open receiver, but when things do break down, I'm definitely not afraid to tuck it and take a hit.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, Josh Allen is certainly changing the way that people look at the Buffalo Bills, and obviously they're a serious contender to make it, all the way through that AFC. So I like that. I like that a lot. I love that. That's a great person to, aspire to be like when it comes to playing quarterback. So let's talk about your new coach. Obviously, every coach you've played for, since you were 7 years old, through Christian Brothers and through 8th grade, 9th grade, JV, and now varsity football, you've had all kinds of different coaches, quarterback coaches, offensive coordinators, wide receivers coaches, and obviously head coaches. And, all the guys that have coached you in the past clearly have had, successful seasons with Jesuit, successful seasons with quarterbacks, obviously Sanji with Grant Jordan. But just talk about your new head coach, Ryan Manali, and what he means to the program and what he means to you as a mentor and to help you, grow as a young man and as a quarterback.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't have one bad thing to say about Coach Manali. He's been absolutely fantastic for me, for my teammates, for the whole program, the entire school. He's been fantastic. From the first day, I think it was the Friday before Mardi Gras break, is when he got hired. And I immediately reached out to him, just say, congratulations, I can't wait to start working with you. The next morning, he was there to practice with me, with my private quarterback coach, Coach Eris Sanchez. And he was watching me, talking to me about the new offense. And then throughout the whole Mardi Gras break, we would go to coffee shops, meet about the offense, start talking things out so I can have that little edge about the new learning curve.
Yeah.
And that was just a personal experience with him that's been great. And from a team perspective, I feel like we've had a culture change at Jesuit. In the past, we really haven't had many winning seasons. And he's told us before, if we don't change the way that we do things, that result's not going to change either. So he's brought some change in the weight room, especially the offensive side of the ball, and from the scheme perspective.
That's
and so far, this new scheme's been going well. I have a great grasp of it, and the way he teaches it and relays it to the players is it's definitely good for us. We're pretty smart guys here at Jesuit. We pick it up quickly, and the rest of the team is doing great with it as well.
No doubt, no doubt. And obviously, you're trained as a quarterback and a leader of the team not to, leak any news, leak any strategy, and when we're talking playbook, I'm really asking from the perspective of work ethic and learning a new playbook, right? So, what is important with Coach Manali as a new coach? And we might have some Holy Cross people tuning into this later when I post it. So I'm not asking so much about the plays in the playbook, but just how crucial is it for you to, y'all play a spread offense. How crucial is it for you to just really, study this thing like it's another subject, like it's another class, and working with Coach Manali and the offense and your receivers on, expanding your knowledge of a new playbook?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the knowledge is crucial. There's no way around it. You either know it or you don't. And I do feel like I do know it pretty well. And I think it all starts from the ground up, starting who's in, where do we line up, what formation we're in, and then knowing the signals to be able to run the right play. As a quarterback, I have to know where everybody is at all times on both sides of the ball. So having that knowledge of where people line up, what they're doing at what time, it's definitely helped, especially learning the offense. So I can piece everything together and then do it as quick as possible before the snap, so I do know what's going on during the actual play. And the most important thing for us, once we do start running the actual plays,
Right.
is to get the balls in the hands of the playmakers. Like wide receiver Jace Larson, one of our main goals of offense is get the ball to him, put him in space, let him do what he does best, get extra yards. That's my job. Get us to the playmakers, move the chains, score points. With one more point, the other team will win the game. So It doesn't need to be anything flashy. Our offense gets the job done, and we're gonna be aggressive, physical. We're gonna come after you, and we're not gonna stop.
I love it, man. That's awesome. And, I saw that you connected with Jace Larson on a touchdown against the Brother Martin game. Obviously, we all know how that ended. And that's just another hurdle for you guys to overcome, for you to, put that game beside you and focus on Holy Cross. But, clearly you have every tool in the toolbox needed to go out and perform for the rest of the season. And that's really impressive. I saw you were an Eagle Scout. And just talk about overcoming challenges real quick before I'm going to play this clip of Coach Manali saying a few good things about you and showing, how much work you've put in the weight room. And obviously, when you talk about you deciding you want to be a quarterback, your 8th grade year and your 9th grade year, I would assume that you've put on a couple pounds and a couple inches and a few more protein shakes since then. You're kind of like a whole new man now. But let's talk about overcoming obstacles, jumping hurdles, right? You've had the COVID year, your junior year. You've had hurricanes and evacuations and power, and everybody's dealing with these things all across the Southeast, power, garbage, insurance, all these things. But for you in particular, Jack, being an Eagle Scout and going through a tough loss with Brother Martin and finally getting your chance to be out there this year, full-time quarterback, COVID restrictions are still there, but it's kind of, back to a sense of normalcy. Just talk about, you in particular as an individual and as a leader of the team overcoming obstacles. Right.
Yes, sir. So, I think the hardest hit of adversity happened last year before our playoff game against Brother Martin. I think it was the Wednesday before the game. Mm-hmm. I had plans to be the starting quarterback instead of switching every series. Luke LaForge, he was going to play some receiver, and I was going to be quarterback the whole time. I had practiced the whole week like that. Yep. Had the game plan down pat, and my dad got a call from Mr. Kearney and our principal and said, "Look, the kid that sits in front of him in the English class got tested positive for COVID. He's out for 2 weeks."
Gotcha.
So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to play in that game. I had to watch from the couch at home, and that was kind of the first taste of adversity I really had.
No doubt.
And ever since that moment, I've been itching to get back on the field. It's one thing to practice through team, but being able to go out there on Friday nights, it's something special, especially with the brotherhood we have on the team. Having that opportunity, it was kind of hard that most of it was taken away from us this year with the hurricane. The first couple games in jamborees weren't able to play, but when we got that chance to step out against Riverdale, it was awesome. Going out there for warm-ups, having a great time with our team, it was great. Nothing like it. I hadn't felt it since the St. Paul's game the year before.
Yeah, that was a huge win. 55-0?
Yes, sir. I think it was 55.
That's awesome. Now, let me ask you, those 2 weeks you had to spend, quarantined from COVID, and obviously that was a hurdle that you had to jump and just, mentally and physically get through. You got some like dumbbells in your room at your house? Were you hitting some D-bell flies? Were you doing some curls?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I try to stay as active as possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't the same as Coach Manali's workout routines in the weight room out here at Jesuit, but
no doubt.
I definitely did what I could. I live close to the levee. I'd run every day because I really had nothing else to do. It was great to go outside, get fresh air, but I tried my best to stay in shape, and then I tried to connect with my receivers, the ones that didn't evacuate. We got together and tried to stay sharp on the offense, run some routes, and really just be together during that time was definitely a big help for us. And although we didn't get to play games during those weeks, I think we still improved in a way and didn't regress in our progress. So we stayed on track and then opened the season up with a strong start.
Right. And on that note, I'm going to play this clip. This is Jack Larriviere getting ready for the season. Obviously, there's been 2 games already. The big win over Riverdale, right? And the tough overtime loss to Brother Martin. So Jesuits 1-1, Holy Cross is 1-1. We're going to talk about that right after this.
It's been quite a busy summer for Jesuit quarterback Jack Larriviere. He's been hitting the weight room hard, working with his team on the field and visiting college campuses all over the country.
I started off, I went to TCU and Texas Tech, and then I worked my way further north and went to a few Ivy League schools, such as Princeton and University of Pennsylvania, and I plan on visiting Yale, Harvard, and Columbia by the end of July.
It's year one for Ryan Manali as head coach at Jesuit, so having a senior quarterback helps in the transition.
Good is you have an experienced quarterback. You have a guy in Jack who's just first class in everything he does. He's elite. I couldn't ask for a better leader. You know, the bad thing is he has to cram this all into a few months. So meeting with Jack and installing a whole new offense, he's passed every test so far, just like he does in the classroom. And very lucky to have Jack.
Larriviere's crash course in the offense is eased a little bit by running it this summer in 7-on-7.
Yes, sir. It's been huge, especially for me since it's a new offense. It's a whole new learning curve for not only me, but also the younger receivers, new tight ends, running backs. So anything we can do, any extra reps helps us in the
So as we turn, our attention to the big game this Friday, Jack, what about your other guys? What about the guys in the offensive room? Coach Gino told me, I talked to Coach Gino last night, and he told me, when he was a junior or senior getting ready for this big game, obviously he was a Holy Cross player. All he wanted to do was beat Jesuit in that rivalry game. And now, and I said, Coach, now your mindset is all you want to do as a Jesuit coach is to beat Holy Cross. And he said, absolutely. Right. Just talk about the hype and the tradition of, and this week in particular, right? I mean, Jesuit does such a good job, and Holy Cross as well, of really making this not just a game, an event. That was always the slogan when I was there. Not just a game, an event. You just came off welcome week. You came back from the storm. Y'all had welcome week at school, and now you have rivalry week. You have special guests, interviews, pep rallies, speeches in the courtyard. You get to meet some alumni. Just tell us about this whole experience leading up to this game on Friday.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So I've been around Jesuit my whole life, and I've always gone to this game. It's been huge for me, my family, everybody. And being able to participate in it as a player is definitely one of the best experiences I've ever could have wished for. Just being around school, around the players, even just other students, and walking around the halls, it's there's definitely a different aroma in the air almost. You can kind of feel it. Everybody's on the edge of their seat. They're looking forward to Friday night, and student council planning pep rallies. Some of my friends, I think, are even more excited than I am for the game. It's just definitely a great vibe around the school right now, and it should be fun to let it all out on Friday night and have a great time.
What's going on today and tomorrow as far as just, the lead in, not so much practice and film, that's all, you going to work, but as far as the fun stuff goes for just, you in the khaki uniform, and as a student, and as a leader, not just on the football team, but in the school, for every student at Jesuit and Holy Cross, what's going on this week, as far as, today and tomorrow, pep rally, courtyard. I think maybe the legend of the game comes and gives y'all a speech. I know that's how it went when I was there. Just tell us about the extracurricular, hype around the game.
Yes, sir. So I think today during lunch, the Marine Corps sponsors an event where the competition starts now. It doesn't just start on Friday night at 7:15. They bring some pull-up bars out to the courtyard, and both Jesuit and Holy Cross, they compete to see how many pull-ups the school can do in total. So it's a great little competition and rivalry before the rivalry, and kind of gets everybody's juices flowing, ready for the game. And it should be fun to go out there and watch everybody have a great time, especially taking away from class, getting your mind off of school for a little bit, and just get ready for the game. And I think later in the week we are going to get spoken to by a few alumni and a few legends of the game to kind of talk to us about the tradition and rivalry between Jesuit and Holy Cross, and put the game into perspective for us, so we know what we're walking into out there on Friday night.
No doubt. I'm going to take a wild guess that Coach Manali does not want any football players participating in the pull-up contest.
No, I don't think anybody needs to get hurt right now. Wouldn't be a good time for that.
Yeah, exactly. But all the students can obviously participate in that, both Jesuit and Holy Cross. That's always a fun aspect to the rivalry, the Great American Rivalry between Jesuit and Holy Cross. I don't know if you knew this, Coach Gino returned a kickoff in his senior year. It was like 45-41, I want to say, was the final score. I can't remember if it was overtime or not. I'll have to check, fact check myself on that. But he returned a kickoff for a touchdown. And then immediately the next play, Chris Marquis, who is one of the best players in Jesuit football history, and went on to play running back for UCLA. Chris Marquis then returned the kickoff, the ensuing kickoff immediately after. What do you know about Holy Cross's defense as you prepare for this Great American Rivalry game?
Yes, sir. Holy Cross, they're a little bit younger than they were last year. They had a whole lot of seniors, some really great and big talent on the defensive line and even in the secondary. This year, they're pretty young, have a few sophomores in the secondary, and they're not that big of a team like they were last year, but they definitely make up for it in aggression. They like to hit hard. They'll come after you. And I think we have a good grasp of what we want to do to attack them on defense. And I'm sure they have some stuff up their sleeve planned for us, but I think we'll definitely be ready for it, and we should be good to go on Friday. That's
awesome, man. You're not afraid to take a hit or two. I know that. Just so everybody knows, we're going to call this segment Jack and Jack in the morning. It's now 10:56 a.m. and Jack's got a couple more minutes with us before he's got to go to his fourth period class and get ready for his last practice, before walkthroughs and everything that happens Friday before the game. We're talking Jesuit football. We're talking Jesuit Holy Cross, the Great American Rivalry game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. on CST and CrescentCitySports.com. Kickoff scheduled for 7:15 on Friday at Tad Gormley Stadium. The first meeting between the schools, Jack, if you didn't know this, took place in 1922, and it's produced many memorable moments over the last 99, to 100 years. I think is this number 101 or 102?
102 this year.
102 this year. So the 102nd meeting between Jesuit and Holy Cross. Jesuit's 1-1. Holy Cross is 1-1. Each team looks to bounce back after losing its District 9 5A opener last weekend. Obviously, Jesuit lost 20-14 in triple overtime to Brother Martin, and the Holy Cross Tigers fell 27-13 at Archbishop Shaw. How about that, man? Shaw is on the rise. What do you think about just obviously Holy Cross's mentality is, revenge game after losing to Shaw, and obviously y'all's mentality is similar after the tough loss to Brother Martin. But speak about the Catholic League and some of your opponents real quick before we just move to kind of the final topic. Shaw upset. I would call that an upset, right? 27-13 over Holy Cross.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So you never really know what you're walking into in the Catholic League, but you do know that everybody's going to bring their A game, no matter who the opponent is, where it is, when it is. Holy Cross, their backs are against the wall. Our backs are against the wall. We both lost our last games in district, and we're both going to be clawing for that first district win this week. Mm-hmm. So we know for sure that everyone's going to come out. They're going to bring it their best, and I think both teams are going to be prepared for it. I think it's just going to come down to who's more prepared and who's going to execute their preparation to the best of their ability. And I think we'll be good.
Yeah, man. No doubt. We looked at Jack's highlight reel. We looked at, Coach Ryan Manali in his first year as Jesuit head coach. And I definitely want to get Coach Manali on talk Culotta on the podcast very soon, maybe even following the game. But we looked at your highlight reel and some of your plays and your ability to escape the pocket and still kind of stay comfortable and take a hit and, deliver a dime over the middle and find an open man on the sideline and just really manage a spread offense. Social media and, I saw your Twitter page and obviously these things have really evolved, right? Not only the quarterback position, but how you kind of promote yourself, how you market yourself, in an effort to continue your football career. And I think you do a really good job of that, Jack. I want you to know that. And I think I speak for every Jesuit alum and, every fan of football, fan of prep football in the New Orleans area. But now, it's kind of up to you to add on to your resume and continue to show yourself on the field, right? We can do so many podcasts. We can do so many news interviews. We can tweet, we can retweet, we can share footage of the past. But now we look to the future, right? We look to this game and all the other games that you and your guys and your teammates and your classmates and your defense and your wide receivers all have ahead of you, right? You have a recipe in front of you for success. So now it's up to you to add on your resume and put together performances that will, draw attention. What can you do as far as chemistry building with your wide receivers this week, right? This Friday, and the whole offense, the offensive line, your tight ends, your receivers, your running backs. What can you do this week to build on your resume?
Yes, sir. So I think most of that relationship building has already happened. It's already in place. But what really matters this week is the mental side of the game, getting on the same page with the offensive scheme, and just making sure we're all doing the same thing at the same time. Everybody knows what their job is, how to execute their job. And I think if we do that, the relationship and chemistry will it'll show. And I think everything will work out just fine as long as we put in the work right now, which we already have the rest of this week. And I think it'll be good for Friday.
Awesome, man. I mean, through COVID-19 restrictions, through Hurricane Ida, through, evacuating and coming back to campus, through welcome week, through rivalry week, and through the rain that came the last 2 days, you guys still feel really prepared, from what I'm hearing from you and how important is kind of this last practice that's going to happen today after school?
Yes, sir. This is it's perfect Thursday. So today's the last chance we have to really finalize any details, work out any kinks, and to make sure everybody is on the same page mentally, and just make the mistakes today so they don't really happen on Friday, because we don't have that kind of opportunity to get back on ourselves and let Holy Cross take over momentum or anything like that. So we're going to do the best we can to make sure we can control the controllables and not let Jesuit beat Jesuit. We're gonna do what we can to win on Friday.
I love that, man. I love that because we have only 3 minutes left to talk. And, I did want to ask you about your future plans. But you really have answered that question, right? In that Fox 8 interview, you said you visited some Ivy League schools, and, this isn't really a time to think about the future when you have such a big game and your mindset is kind of locked in on Holy Cross, and, you kind of just let your performance and your coaches and the success that the team, aims for this weekend speak for itself. But, with that said, no matter what happens in the future, what is kind of your goal as far as, your major and what you look for in a school and, in the opportunity to play college football, but also to, chase your dream in the, the academic world? Yes,
sir. So right now the plan is definitely to major in engineering. I love math and science, and I think that's going to be my passion for the rest of my life. I'm leaning towards the chemical engineering side, but I haven't totally decided yet. And from a school perspective, I don't know the exact school that I want to go to, but I definitely am interested in a high academic school, such as an Ivy League. But I think what I said earlier sums it up the best. I'm just going to control what I can control right now with school, my grades, the football team right here, right now, this season, and whatever happens after the season from a college perspective. I'll definitely consider everything, but for right now, we're just focused on Jesuit football.
I love that, man. Control what you can control. And I had an interview last week with Ryder Cup golfer, and, a longtime champion of the game of golf. And, his phrase that goes into your head is not only control what you can control, but expect the unexpected. Right. And so, if you want to take any advice from a professional golfer, I would add that to kind of your phrases that you kind of have going through your head. And if you're prepared, and I'm sure you are, and I'm sure the team is, then y'all will be able to kind of take the unexpected and deal with it. And I wish you all the best in that aspect. So Jesuit football, Jack Larriviere is locked in on this Friday against Holy Cross. Both teams are 1-1. This is the 102nd meeting of the Great American Rivalry game. Last question for you, Jack. What does the Gizzard mean to you?
The Gizzard's everything. We wouldn't be the same football team without them. The passion they bring before the game, during warm-ups, during the game, after either a win or a loss, it's really a sight to see, and you can just feel it. Being on the field, I try not to look over, get distracted by anything, but
Right.
I definitely feel their presence no matter where I am, and we definitely wouldn't be the same without them. The support's insane. I love them so much, and I appreciate each and everybody that comes out to support the Jays.
All right, so let's test your science on this real quick, and then we'll finish up. Because for those not in the Jesuit family, or for those who have never heard that phrase, they're like, "What the hell is the Gizzard?" So what does the Gizzard mean to you? Not just as the student section, but as the scientific, anatomy part. Kind of, how does that compare to the hype and the spirit that your fellow classmates bring before a big game and during a game?
Yes, sir. I'm pretty sure the Gizzard is a part of a bird where it digests and breaks down things that really the stomach can't. So I guess our student section is the Gizzard of our football team, the football team being the bird. And they break down our opponent when in ways that we can't. And verbally, I guess, from their loud cheers and cheering us on and supporting us, it definitely helps us break down the team in our own ways.
I tell you what, man, you're spot on. Gizzard, noun, a muscular, thick-walled part of a bird's stomach for grinding food, typically with grit.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm very very impressed with you, as I'm sure every football alum, and I can't speak for them because I didn't play football at Jesuit, but every alum of Jesuit and any fan of prep football in the New Orleans area, 4.14 GPA, senior quarterback, 6'2", and an Eagle Scout, and really putting his best foot forward to lead Coach Ryan Manali's Jesuit football team. So, Jack, thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you the best of luck and the best of prep leading up to Friday's game, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I really thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. It was great.
All right, God bless, man. Have a good rest of the day, and go Jays.
You too. Thank you so much.